I love being an entrepreneur and hosting this top 2.5% global show to bring you authentic talks with successful founders of companies and brands. My entrepreneurial journey started after I was left for dead. Let's learn the impactful journey of today's guest now.
We can build out full companies and focus not just so much on the points and miles travel hacks, which is just base case at this point, but also developing leadership skills, sales skills, client management skills, ascension, retention, all of those like more high level entrepreneurial business skills that I'm sure is what all people come to your podcast to learn more about. But that's more what I'm looking forward to in the future is
We are traveling to Las Vegas today. We're talking to a point strategy coach, speaker, and the founder of GeoBreeze Travel Podcast. So we'll learn about another show to add to your queue. She's been featured as a speaker at FinConX and in Money Magazine, creditcards.com. She is an actuary with nearly a decade of experience here as an entrepreneur to help you grow here on That Entrepreneur Show. Julia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here and just want to say thank you so much for also just putting out this show. I am also a fellow podcast host. I know how much work goes into all of these things, and you add so much value with all of your episodes. I streamed a couple of them to prepare for this, so you are doing great work, sir.
Oh, well, back at you, and thank you for the kind words. Everyone, be sure to stick around till a little later in the show. We're going to dive into her podcast. But first, let me welcome everyone back to another show here on That Entrepreneur Show. My name is Vincent A. Lancy, and I want to thank you for tuning in and keeping the show a top 2.5% global show. We can't do it without you or the amazing guests like today. And I gave a bit of a preview to all she does. And of course, she's named one of CNN's underscored top travel coaches. So we're going to dive into that. But first, let's go back a little bit, Julia. Why'd you want to become an entrepreneur at first?
This life chose me. I didn't choose this life. I was an actuary before I did deep math modeling. I studied and got through all of the certification exams, which took probably like 6 years. And I thought I was just all set with an actuarial career. But at some point, moved from corporate to startup. That startup went under. And I was like, well, I have this points and miles Instagram. Might as well see what this does while I search for a new job. And in the couple of months that I was job searching for another actuarial gig, this kind of took off. So here we are.
I love it. Well, kind of not forcing anything. I think that's important because you have to be passionate about what you're doing, or entrepreneurship may eat you up. What would you say some of the more challenging parts of being on your own were when you were getting started and start to make some noise?
Just the loneliness of it all. I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel that type of loneliness, but that's actually how all of this came to be. Because during the pandemic, I'm into traveling, obviously. Nobody was able to travel during the pandemic. So I just started reaching out to other points and miles people on Instagram and asking them, hey, do you want to jump on a Zoom and we can talk about points and nerd out together? And the general response was, no, that's very weird. I don't know who you are. So I was like, well, what if I record our conversation and then I'll release it to thousands of people on the internet, which thousands was at that time, like 2,000.
Right,
And
right.
they were like, oh, are you starting a points podcast? I'd love to be featured. And me being like, sure, yes, I am doing that. And it was just a way to bamboozle people into spending an hour with me because I was really bored, really lonely during the pandemic. And also to get some free consulting from other points people where I would ask, how are you doing all these things? What are the tips and tricks that you have? And it wasn't supposed to be income yielding, but at some point, like you grow a podcast, people come in and they're like, oh, these are great tips. Can you just do this for me? I don't really have time to implement everything that you guys are talking about on the podcast every week. So it all came about pretty organically from there.
That natural evolution. Well, I love to hear that. I think now that we're teasing all these points, you might as well get into some stuff because there are probably some travelers listening on who are pleasantly surprised about the direction of today's show. Let's talk about how to use points and miles to fund a freedom-based lifestyle.
Yeah. So, you know how a lot of successful business owners and professionals have heard that they can use their credit card points to travel in luxury, but there's a lot of information and yet not a lot of information at the same time. There's so many blogs, and a lot of the articles are a little bit outdated, or you're scrolling through Instagram, seeing all of these videos, and you're just like, what am I actually supposed to be doing? I've tried opening the best cards. I've tried copying what other people do on social media, but I am not finding these deals that other people are talking about. And so a lot of business owners get burnt trying to figure this out because they've got better things to do with their own businesses. So what I do is I help business owners and high cash flow individuals like doctors and lawyers to unlock premium international trips without wasting time or money. We use what we call the business class blueprint in my business. So that way you can just take the expenses that you were already going to make with your business and your personal life, put them onto the right credit cards for you, put together the best strategy to maximize earning points. And then when it comes time to redeem those points for an actual trip, you're getting way more stretch out of those points versus just cashing them in for 1 cent per point.
I absolutely love that, making the most of these points. And I think someone like you and there's other travelers listening on, these points really add up and I'm sure you don't want to be throwing any away. Let's talk more about what you said before. Like, okay, let's put everything on the one card just for anyone out there who may not know if something is write-offable. Can you maybe shed some myth busts here?
Yeah. So a lot of people are obsessed with airline cards where they're like, well, I fly Delta a lot. I should get a Delta card. I fly United a lot. I should get a United card. That's not necessarily true. What we have found is generally the best cards are ones with flexible points currencies. So Capital One, Chase, Amex, Citi, Bilt, ones where you can take those points and move it to a variety of different airlines. That's where you're going to find the most value. A second mistake that people make is they're like, all right, Amex cards. We should get Amex cards. So maybe they get the Amex Gold or Business Platinum or something like that. But then they've earned all these points with Amex and they're like, okay, it's a $500 flight that I need to take. Let me just go into the Amex website. It's 50,000 points through their portal, cash out 50,000 Amex points to book a $500 flight. Not how to optimally use your points. If you want to get the most value out of them, it takes an extra step of researching who are all the partners that Amex transfers to and how do I move my points over there. This can be a little bit tricky because let's say that you want to take a United flight. Amex points don't transfer directly to United, but you might actually be able to book that same exact flight for cheaper through Air Canada because United and Air Canada are partners, but Amex points don't transfer to United, but they do transfer to Air Canada. It is a whole web and maze that confuses people all the time. So that is what we are here to help people navigate, is how to make the most out of these points, given that it's all a very interwoven Venn diagram of what kind of points do you need, where can you move those points, who you book through isn't the actual airplane that you're flying on. That's what we help people with.
I think now is a perfect time to dive into your podcast as well, because we're talking about all these great tips. And I know you've been putting them out. You started thinking of this in the pandemic. So now, again, what's the title of the podcast? And let's talk a little bit more about what each episode entails.
Sure. So the title of the podcast is the GeoBreeze Travel Podcast. Same for my Instagram at GeoBreeze Travel. Same for the YouTube channel where you can find the podcast. But also every week we do some step-by-step tutorials if you want to learn how to do this on your own and deep dive into all of the different tools that we use to find flight deals and hotel deals for our clients. Put out videos every week, both long form and short form on those.
I love it. And if someone wanted to be a guest, what kind of guests are you looking for? Maybe there's someone listening on today who might be able to hop on your show.
My favorite ones are anybody who is a developer, like a software developer, app developer. If you have made some kind of tool to help the broader points and miles community to make it more efficient for us to earn points in different ways or better ways to find flight deals, that would be fantastic. Please reach out to me. Otherwise, great guests are ones who have used points and miles and they've been able to take some amazing trips. We love those different case study types of episodes that we feature all the time. We're probably close to 300 episodes in at this point. So those are some of the different types of guests that we have, some of the different episodes, is people who are making tools that the broader community would benefit from, or just seeing what's possible, both from experienced travelers or people who just got into the game.
I love it. Well, everyone, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to that podcast. But here, as we're continuing to talk about your business, what are some hopes you have for what's next? What do you want to see come next in the natural evolution of your company?
Yeah. For the industry of points and miles, it's been really interesting seeing the evolution over the last 4 years because previously, anybody who wanted to be in business in this space was a blogger with affiliate links. And so you would write all of these articles, people would click on your links if they wanted to get the credit cards that you were recommending, and then you make money through commissions that way. And then the floodgates kind of opened, and then everybody got affiliate links, and the credit card companies got a little bit scared because people are just breaking FTC rules all over the place on TikTok. So they've really, really tightened down on what you're allowed to say on video or in your posts and all of that. So people have gotten creative with different ways of making money, whether it's just pay me directly for coaching or selling courses or something else like that. And so that's gotten a little bit inundated as well. What I would like to see for my business and also the future of points and miles is for it to just turn into more of a mature industry, just like a lot of other things out there, whether it's video editing agencies, creative marketing agencies, more traditional travel agencies, which is very different than what points and miles consultants do. And that way, we can build out full companies and focus not just so much on the points and miles travel hacks, which is just base case at this point, but also developing leadership skills, sales skills, client management skills, ascension, retention, all of those like more high level entrepreneurial business skills that I'm sure is what all people come to your podcast to learn more about. But that's more what I'm looking forward to in the future is there's only so many ways to book different flight deals. We cover most of them on the YouTube, but I'm excited to develop the next level of skills for really building a business around all of this.
I love all the value you brought to us. I have to ask if there's one tip, one travel tip that most people don't know. I'm not going to, I don't mean to classify everybody together, but I'm just saying the majority of non travel gurus, right? Travel experts like yourself. Give us a tip.
Positioning flights, I would say, would be the main thing. So most people, let's say that you're trying to get from Oklahoma over to Bangkok, Thailand. Most people, when they search on Google Flights, they're just like, I need to get from OKC over to BKK, and that's it. That is not how you do it with points. Instead, I would recommend just prioritize getting over the ocean somehow. So it might not be point to point. It might be you find a great deal out of California, and then it goes into Singapore, but it's in business class, and it's a fantastic deal. I would just book that first and then book yourself a separate flight from Oklahoma to California and then maybe a separate flight from Singapore into Bangkok. Maybe you found a flight that goes from California all the way to Bangkok, but piecing together different bookings instead of being like, it all has to be done in one itinerary, you will save yourself so many points, and also possibly a lot of money that way if you're willing to piece together your itinerary rather than being like, it all has to be done at once in one bundle.
That's great tips. And everyone out there, you're going to find out where to find her online. Just a moment where you can figure out all her latest and greatest tips. We've touched on so much, but is there anything we didn't touch on when it comes to your business or the industry that you think it's important for our listeners to understand and hear?
There's so much more we can cover. We have basically just barely covered the tip of all that's in points and miles. So if anybody's interested in a free points 101 course and then some deeper dives as well, if you already have points, we have a couple of freebies for you. So you can find me on Instagram at GeoBreeze Travel. Just DM me the word podcast 2025, all one word, and I'll send you links to a couple of free things. One is our free points and miles course, 101 course. It also has a free hotel upgrade email template in there. So another tip a lot of people might not know, you can get free upgrades and amenities, sometimes just by texting the hotel or emailing the hotel. So I give you a free template on how to do that. And then the other thing we'll give you is something that's not even available online. We just use it internally. It's to figure out exactly how much you're leaving on the table by not maximizing your points and miles. And this is whether you already have some points ready to go and you're just not sure how to use them, or you just spend quite a bit on your business in your personal life and you're like, how much more travel should I be getting per year out of all of these expenses? So we help you with both of those things. Just follow me on Instagram at GeoBreezeTravel, DM me the word podcast 2025, and we will send you both of those things.
I absolutely love it. But before I let you go, if there's any entrepreneur throughout history, dead or alive, and I just ask that it's someone you have not had the privilege of meeting yet, who would you choose?
Oh, Michelle Phan. Yeah, she's just like the OG of YouTube makeup tutorials. I think she invented like influencer marketing and subscription boxes. And she's so fun to watch and to listen to. I am such a fan of Michelle Phan. So, yes, that would be the one.
Let's delve deeper. Where would this meeting be if you could pick the location to?
Oh, some tropical Asian beach, probably like either in Thailand, Vietnam, Bali, somewhere around there. I love Malaysia. Malaysian food's some of my favorites. I'm Filipino and I've not explored a lot of I call them the Travel Channel Islands of the Philippines. So somewhere around there is where we would meet up.
I don't know how we went through the whole show without talking about your favorite place you've traveled. Where would you say that is?
I love Singapore because I love food and I also love logistics. So most places are good at one or the other. Morocco, great food. Terrible traffic jam logistics. Not very walkable. Probably will get hit by a car or something. But Denmark, fantastic logistics and public transportation. I love cities that have great city planning, great public transportation. But in Denmark, everything tastes like pickles. So the food wasn't very good. With Singapore, they are very strong with both. So that's one of my favorite places to fly through. It's great for stopovers. You just need a couple days to enjoy the city. It's also, Singapore Airlines is my favorite airline. Their airport is my favorite airport. I love so many things about them. And I also love the books of Kevin Kwan and the movie Crazy Rich Asians, which a lot of it takes place in Singapore. So that's my best Crazy Rich Asians life.
I love it. Well, let's manifest it so you get over there a little more and experience all of that. But everyone, I learned a whole lot. I also learned about following your passion today more and more. And look how much she's thriving. I want to thank you, Julia, so much for coming on the show. Give it one more time. What's the website?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. The website is geobreezetravel.com. But if you want to actually connect with me, I usually hang out on Instagram. So GeoBreezeTravel on Instagram, send me a DM and DM me the word podcast 2025 as well.
All right, everyone, you better get on it as there's still plenty of time to travel this year. My name is Vincent A. Lancey, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode here on That Entrepreneur Show. This show is brought to you by Coming Alive Podcast Production.com. And today we met another great entrepreneur. Be sure to subscribe to stay current with our community of entrepreneurs. And with that, we are signing off today. Julia, thank you so much.
Thank you.